Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I have my January reading wrap up. January ended up being an absolute excellent reading month for a wide variety of reasons, but I had my first 5-star read in January. I also was able to successfully complete a couple of events, which was amazing. I read for Flannery O'January, I read for the E.M. Forster read along. I'm just thrilled, and I have an updated bingo card for you for the Past and Futures read along. I will go through each of those kind of events as I go through them, but I will leave all of them linked in the description below for you and all of the absolute wonderful hosts. It has been a lot of fun in January. All right, but what did I actually read? So for my 1001 book countdown, I was pretty successful, pretty happy. I started the month off a little rocky, and then the last update was amazing. The first book that I finished was, of course, Middlemarch by George Eliot. This was my 5-star read this month. Absolutely amazing. Love this book. I have a dedicated, no, it's not quite a dedicated. I do have a video talking about this one already if you want to go and check it out, but absolutely loved Middlemarch. It was for the Up to No Good Book Club, which has Shelley Swearingen, Fraser Simons, Jolene Bookworm Adventure Girl, Deb, Sue, not Sue, why am I saying Sue? Deb, Sonia, and Angela, who are subscribers and great friends. And so we meet actually the day this video goes live, so I'm really excited to have our conversation about Middlemarch. But that was my first one and my 5-star one. The next 1001 book I finished was, of course, Like Water for Chocolate. I did this as a buddy read with Britta Bowler, and the book was okay, love the food, absolutely love the food, but I was able to complete this one. This one was off of my 2023 list and was off of obviously the 1001 list. I don't know why I'm saying that again, but I am. So Like Water for Chocolate, so that was 2. The other book I had planned was for Flannery O'January, which was, of course, not the complete stories, but the short stories of Everyone That Rises Must Converge. And I read all of these short stories. Flannery O'January is hosted by a wonderful number of booktubers, including Noah over at Everybody Who Reads It Must Converse. I keep trying to call this book his channel name. Trying. The Codex Cantina, Christy Lewis Dostoevsky in Space, a musical bookworm, and Beautiful in Minutia. So wonderful event. I'm so glad I got to participate. I also actually read A Wise Blood by Flannery O'Connor, but I don't have it anymore because it was a library book. This one was on my 2023 list. Wise Blood was not, but that is 4 books so far off of my 1001 countdown. Woo! And then the last 1001 countdown, that was the last book from the 1001 book countdown that was on my TBR, was this one, Where Angels Fear to Tread by E.M. Forster. I read this for Jen the Librarian's E.M. Forster read along, and I was just kind of okay with the book. There was a lot of discussion out on Discord, and I just wasn't able to quite participate in it, which I'm very sad about, but I did actually end up making this one. That's 5 from the countdown, but only 3 off of the 2023 list. The one book I had on my TBR that I didn't get to from the 1001 book countdown, Reine, Margo by Alexandre Dumas. I think I made the right decision for me, which was to not pick up this heavy book before I picked up A Fine Balance, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with not reading this one yet. It will go back on the list for this year because it is on the 2023 list, but I didn't quite get to this, and it does impact my Past and Future Readathon bingo board a little bit. Darn it. But Alexandre Dumas, I didn't quite get to that one. What I did pick up, and I haven't talked about yet, is A Drowned World by J.G. Ballard. This was a very short novel of only 200 pages. I haven't had it in a countdown video yet, so it will come up, but I did actually read it in January. So I still will be scraping off 4 off of the 2023 list for January, but it wasn't on my TBR, and you'll hear about what I thought about that book in my next countdown video. All right, so what else was on my TBR that I did read? The first book I have a dedicated review for, which is my subscriber favorite pick of A Man Called Uva by Frederick Bachman. And this one, I have taken the card out of who recommended this one. Shoot! This one was a favorite of one of my subscribers who has the name Joe. And so thank you so much. But I do have a dedicated review for this book, which I will leave linked for you as well, so you can go and check it out. I read my nonfiction, which was one of my goals for the year. I also have a dedicated video about this, which is Body Respect by Linda Bacon and Lucy Aframore. This book has hit me in all the right ways about a book about health and the body and how I think about things. And yeah, I'm still thinking about it. Look at all these tabs on it though. Whew, lots of tabs. But yeah, I do have a dedicated review of this one as well as some of my personal background. So yeah, if you're interested in that one, it's a great one. What was I going to say? Yeah, so this does fulfill my goal of reading nonfiction in January, so that's good. The next book I have is a group read with Sarah over at Freshly Read Books, Gemma from Gemma Books, and Fraser Simon. And we read the third book in the Becky Chambers Wayfarer series, which is this one, Record of a Spaceborn Few. So we have, this is the third book in the series that we've read together, which has been wonderful. Absolutely a lot of fun getting to talk with everyone about this particular book. This book kind of goes back to the style of the first book. So the first book was all about all these characters on the Wayfarer and this found family aspect, lots of different perspectives and kind of how they all interact. And then the second book really diverged from that and was just one and two perspectives kind of back and forth. And this one went back to lots of different characters, lots of different perspectives, not quite as much of a found family aspect as the original one. And there was a point in this book, I was like, no, it can't be true. Please tell me it's not true. I left a Voxer message for the group going, no, sad face. But it was very, very well done. I think it's right up there with The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet for me, as far as how much I really like this third book. We are going to go ahead and go on and read the fourth book in the series, which I have over there somewhere. I don't remember the name of it, but we will be reading that one. I think we decided on April. I hope it was April, but Record of a Spaceborn Few. Yay! And then the next three books were solely for the Past and Futures Readathon. So I'll start updating that board as I go through these. The first book was for the TBR veteran prompt. So hopefully I'll have the board up. I think I'll put the board over here somewhere, but I will have, let me move over a little bit. I'm going to do that. Okay. I'm all set up now for my TBR, for the Past and Futures Readathon bingo board, which you should see over here. But let's talk about the first book. The first book is actually for the TBR veteran prompt, and that is Carrie by Stephen King. This has sat on my shelf since my first book haul. I definitely had a few books older than this, but this is the one I had picked up because I'm trying to get through my books that are left from my first book haul. But Carrie by Stephen King, what this book is about, if you're not familiar, is there is a young girl whose name is, Carrie, and she is in high school. I think it was high school. Yes, it was high school, definitely high school. And she has, unfortunately, her first period at school in the gym or in the locker room. And the girls there were horrible, absolutely horrible to her, treated her horribly, just absolutely appalling, the behaviors that happened in the gym for this, or in the locker room for this. I was horrified for poor Carrie. And then the other part is like the coaches or teachers or principals who tried to make this better ultimately made it worse because of just how they handled it and how one of the characters reacted to that. And Carrie did not have a very happy home life at all. It was very stressful there as well. And then she just basically breaks. One of the people who were initially involved in the first part of it actually had arranged for her boyfriend to ask her to go to prom, and it was just all over from there. Overall, I thought it was interesting. It had a weirdly written kind of timeline because it would bounce between Carrie at a point, and then it would bounce to the future and someone's perspective about what happened, and then it would bounce back again. And so those are never my favorite kind of timelines. So am I happy I read it? Absolutely. I got it off of my list. I'm very pleased it's Stephen King's debut novel, and it kind of reads a little bit like that, but I'm so glad I got to read this since I was so familiar with the story. But this one is my TBR veteran prompt, so I'll put an X on that. All right, The next one that I read was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl, and I picked this one for the Relive Your Youth prompt. It was just such a light and fun and easy read. So happy for this particular one. I was very familiar with the story Charlie and the Chocolate Factory because I've watched both adaptations for this, and there were a number of similarities and a number of differences. If you're not familiar with this, Willy Wonka is the owner of a chocolate factory, and he has a contest with golden tickets that allow these children to come to the factory with it. So it's all the experiences of the kids trying to get the golden tickets, and then once they're there, just experiencing everything that's in this wonderful magical factory with Oompa Loompas, and it was magnificent as far as the book goes. I had a lot of fun reading this, though it was very dark again, much like Matilda. This one, the family in this is basically starving. I mean, and it's very bleak in this. Where in the movies, it never felt as bleak. I mean, I think the Johnny Depp adaptation was a little bit more so than the original Gene Wilder adaptation, but there were differences that were in both movies that weren't in the book. There were some things in the book that were not in either one of them, and there were some things that were in one adaptation and not the other. So I really enjoyed that. But this one is a fun, easy read. It did not take me long at all. But Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl is my Relive Your Youth prompt. So I'll put an X on that. Hopefully in editing, I'm able to do all that. And then it says from before you were born. I had interpreted this prompt as the year you were born. And what I have for that is this one, Charlie in the Great Glass Elevator by Roald Dahl. This was actually published the year I was born in 1972. So that's why I picked this particular one. And this one is a big departure from the original one. This one was really interesting is the whole family is in this elevator at the end of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Even in the movies, the elevator takes off and people are loaded onto the elevator, and the whole entire family goes up in this elevator. And as you can see on this cover right here, it's a rocket because they end up in space. It's like, okay, space, sure, why not? We'll send Charlie and Willy Wonka and the 4 grandparents and the parents into space in a great glass elevator that has the ability to have atmosphere and gravity. It was just a lot of fun, but it wasn't as fun for me as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but it was a fun read. So this will be my third Roald Dahl that I've actually completed. But with this, we will check off from the year you were born prompt on the bingo board. Yay! So what else do I get to check off on the bingo board? I have one book that I read as an ebook, and it is a new release. It is a favorite author. I read this author all the time because I love this style. It is a romance novel, a military romance novel called, I wrote it down, Deserving Henley by Susan Stoker. And this book is set in an area called The Refuge, which is a refuge for people with PTSD of all different kinds, and it's all of the veterans who came to work there, and of course all of their possible love interests. And this one had 2 different characters that got together in it, and it was just mindless fun. So I'm going to use that book actually for treat in the center. And you know what? I'm going to use it as a favorite author. I had a different book picked for that, but I'm going to go with both of that. Can I double? I'm going to double. That's what we're going to do. All right. So the next one, though, the prompt that I'm going to cover is From the Future, and that will, of course, be Record of a Spaceborn Few. Fits perfectly. I'm going to put that in that one. And then I have an older protagonist, which is, of course, a man called Uva. He is older than me. Not by that many years, though, because in the book, he's only 59. That's not too much older than me. I'm rapidly approaching 51. So, yeah, I will mark that one off. And then as far as the other ones, the anticipated read, I don't remember what I selected for the anticipated read prompt or to set the tone for the year. I do think out of all of the books that I read, which I can't find now. I think all out of all of the books that I read, the book that I would say is probably going to set the tone the most for my year is definitely going to be this one, Body Respect. I think that this is okay. I think I'm okay with this one. Yeah. I'm going to go with this one and set the tone for the year because that is absolutely how I am taking it. And then the last one was the anticipated read. And I know I selected this one either for favorite author or for anticipated read, and it was the La Reine Margo by Alexandre Dumas, which I did not get to. So yeah, I ended up with a bingo board missing one. I mean, that's I'm gonna put it over here. Hopefully I have it up here. That's pretty cool. I mean, truly pretty cool. So, yeah, very fun. Thank you so much to all of the hosts, which were Emily at Novelle Novels, Gemma from Gemma Books, Jack at Spread Book Joy, and Alice from Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. That was a lot of fun. I will try and plan for this better next year and have it as part of my just plans all along. But yeah, what a great reading month. So many fun books. I read some favorite authors from new release. I read some Roald Dahl. I had a 5-star read. I read a great book about the body. I mean, this is exactly how I want my reading months to go. So very, very fun. Absolutely fun. Have you read any of these books? I hope this inspires you maybe to pick some of them up as well. But yeah, what an amazing month. I'm really excited about February, even though if you watch my video from this week, yeah, the BookTube price is great. I have a lot going on now, but I'm so incredibly thrilled about it. I have started my February book of the month. Woo! My February 1001 book club pick. And wow. On my Discord, I think I've posted 5 comments on my Discord in one day about this book because it is absolutely impacted me. But that's about February. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Book just fell down. Bye.